Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
Welcome to Patriots Touchback Podcast.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome on to Season 3, Episode 3 of the Patriots Touchback Podcast. Your main host is back after his delays. It's me, Carl, aka Gun Down UK. I am joined by DJ, by Kieran, and the timing of him getting onto this stream is absolutely impeccable. It is the country boy himself, Joe. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing this evening?
All the better for seeing your faces. It's a good week, boys. We've got a draft coming up. Number 4 pick. What more could you ask for? Apart from Travis Hunter to fall to 4.
I like to call this week, please don't fuck it up, Elliot Wolf week. He's had a good off season so far, so please don't ruin it on Thursday, Elliot, and on Friday and Saturday as well. But I know, looking forward to this. This is always one of my favourite shows. In fact, I think last year was one of my first shows I'd done since joining the team. So, yeah, excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, obviously Nick is not available with us tonight, so we wish him all the best. But we do have his mock draft, and we will either be happy with it or we'll absolutely scathe it either way. But for now, make sure, please, you hit the like button. You Gronk spike the subscribe button. That is always much appreciated. Tell all your friends. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms and follow us on the podcast on Spotify and DJ. Are we on Apple yet, or are we still?
Oh, I can't hear DJ.
He's on mic. Okay, so yeah, I think we're not quite there yet, but we are definitely on Spotify. So go and check us out on there. And a big thank you as well to our new people that have took us under their umbrella, the Asleep at Work Network. Great people we work under now. So make sure you subscribe to them as well. We're doing lots of big stuff. They've just had their mock draft on from Monday. So yeah, go check them out when you get the opportunity to.
Yeah, we are on Apple. It just takes a while to upload, but we're definitely there.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, gentlemen, we are officially on the door. We're officially on the main road now to the draft. We are 48 hours away, or just over 48 hours away from the NFL draft itself. And this is usually the time where everyone starts putting in their mock drafts of seeing how great, how bad, or how absolutely goddamn awful they are. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So let's grab all our screens. So unfortunately, Nick's not with us tonight. So we are going to start off with Nick's mock draft. So here we go, gentlemen. So his mock. So remember, anyone that's not listening on the podcast, you won't be able to see what you see. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk you through all of the picks from rounds 1 to round 7. So for Nick's mock draft, and remember, all of these are non-trades. So we haven't done any trades whatsoever. I don't know, that sounds like a boring take, but unfortunately, trades are just so convoluted. It is just, we know it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. So with that being said, in round 1, at pick number 4, we take the tackle out of LSU, Will Campbell. In round 2, at pick 38, we take wide receiver out of Iowa State, Jaden Higgins. Round 3, in pick number 69, running back R.J. Harvey out of the University of Central Florida. Round 3, 77. How's this guy managed to get Jack Sawyer from Ohio State, the edge rusher? I've done a lot of drafts and I couldn't get Sawyer on any of my
seen him on my board. Exactly.
I couldn't get him on my board. So interesting one. So round 4, pick 106. He took corner Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State. Round 5 at 144. He took safety Jalen Reed out of Penn State. Round 5 at 171. He took guard Connor Colby out of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Thank you. Yeah, nearly got that wrong. Round 7 at 220. He took kicker Ryan Fitzgerald out of Florida State. And round 7, 238, he took center Drew Kendall out of our good neighbors, Boston College. Kieran, what do you make of Nick's draft board? What has he done well, and what is there anything interesting about him? Was there any pick you're like, I don't know, there might be a bit of a risk?
Well, first of all, Nick and I are clearly thinking very similar because there are 5 players in this mock that I have in mind. Yeah, we're very, very similar. So what I'll do is I'll talk about the players that I don't have in mind. Last week, we spoke a lot about Jack Sawyer being a Mike Vrabel guy. He lacks the ideal length to play on the edge, but in terms of his play style, his mentality, his leadership, everything that he shows at Ohio State, he just screams a Mike Vrabel kind of player, someone who's going to wear his heart on his sleeve and just absolutely die for the team. So I really like the Sawyer pick. If we were able to get him in round 3, I think that would be a steal. I know Joe's a big fan of RJ Harvey, and I do think that would be a good fit in this offense for what we require. And then I think Connor Colby in round 5 presents a lot of good value, actually. I think Carl, you and I were speaking in the green room about the offensive line drop-off in kind of the latter rounds. But Iowa is renowned for its offensive line talent. And it wouldn't surprise me if Connor Colby, in that 5th round range is someone that goes on and becomes, a dependable starter in the league. So, yeah, I quite like this mock. I think Nick's nailed quite a few picks here.
DJ, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. I mean, if I had to pinpoint something out of it, I, for one, didn't go as far up for a running back than what Nick did. I think Nick took him on the 3rd there. So I maybe wouldn't have gone for I haven't gone for a halfback on the 3rd. I think I've got one in the 4th or the 5th, but yeah, the rest, like I say, that Jalen Reed is a steal. I think round 5 as well. He on every mock that I did, he seemed to drop. So I don't know if there's something that we're not seeing there, but and also Kendall as well, to get him a center round 7. That's another decent little steal there, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jalen Reed, I noticed, had fallen down the board a fair few times. Yeah. I think it's due to an injury he sustained at the back end of the season. I think he sustained an injury. That's why I think he's fallen. I'll be very, very surprised if he falls into day 3 on the actual draft. I think he's still going to be a 3rd, maybe a 4th rounder, potentially, even with the injury that he sustained potentially. Joe, what about you? What catches your eye in next mock?
I mean, I think for me, again, I think Jack Sawyer fall into the 3rd round of that as well. It's just, I have not seen that on any draft boards so far throughout this. He's always been gone by the 2nd for me. Again, I like to pick up Jalen Reed late in the 5th. And obviously, as Kieran said, I'm a big RJ Harvey fan. I really think he'll be could be dynamite in this offense and the way we want to play.
Yeah, for me, listen, I think the top 2 are pretty much self-explanatory. Will Campbell, I think. That seems to be the consensus that's been going around recently, so it is what it is. Jaden Higgins, I actually do like this kid. I really, really do, out of Iowa State. I think he's very good. If we do somehow go early and get a running back, I think RJ Harvey is a very, very good option, but I think there's another draft board down here, which I think is Kieran's actually, who's picked up an absolute monster. So we'll see further down there. And also, what I've also noticed, I've gone through the drafts already prior to us going live. There's one thing in common that we've all gone for: the kicker, by the name of Ryan Fitzgerald. And nearly every one of us, I think, bar
I didn't.
DJ.
I didn't get.
Oh, okay. So it's just me and Kieran, then me, Kieran, and Nick. That's obviously gone for the kickers. Then it seems like
Kickers aren't real people.
Neither are punters, but look at Pat McAfee.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly.
Okay. So what would we grade? Okay, this is PFF's grade. Obviously, Nick's cut it out because he doesn't like it. But what would we grade this overall?
I'm going to give this an A-, I think. I'm a big fan of a lot of these picks. Like I said, 5 of them are on my board. Yeah, I think it's it's a very strong draft. There are obviously some people I would have taken in other positions, but I think Nick has done really well. I think I would be hard pressed to give him anything lower than an A-.
Okay, BJ.
Yeah, I'm similar boat. I'd say A, maybe.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I think B plus A minus is high. I think it's flirting between that. I think it's a very good, very strong draft. I like the. I think the positions where you could change around, as like I said, that fourth pick and the 38th pick. I think you could see us either go wide receiver, tackle, or tackle wide receiver. So I would, if this was what we ended up with on draft night, I wouldn't be upset.
Okay, right. Let's move swiftly on. Right, let's go to. Okay. Let's go to DJs. We'll go to DJs next.
Yep.
Here we go. So similar to the top two. So obviously Will Campbell went at 4, Jane Higgins went at 38, but then there's some big changes here, and I was actually very impressed with this last bit. Ozzy Trapilo out of Boston College, a tackle. He was picked to round 3, pick 69. Took a tight end, took Mason Taylor out of LSU in round 3. Damian Martinez, I think that's a steal. If he ends up in the 4th round, that's a steal. At round 4, Danny Stutzman of Oklahoma. Was this pick best available player at the time?
At the time, yeah, it was just the bet. I was kind of looking for a middle linebacker at that stage, around the 5, if not the next 5th pick down. But he stood on the board there, so I just took the best player that was available at the time.
Don't like the Jalen Reed pick, to be honest. Is he referring to his draft? Are you referring to his draft or yours, Nick? Which one is it? So yeah, Kyle McCord, a quarterback. I think we're going to take a quarterback in the back end of the draft anyway, because we don't have a third stringer. So I think it makes sense to take one. McCord has got some upside to him. Jalen Reed drops all the way to round 7. Oh,
yeah, I thought that was
he said mine. He does like Jalen Reed
dropping. And I just took him at 7. Thought safety. If anything happens to Duggar or whoever in that backfield, then we can obviously then use Reed there and that to cover.
Yep. So safety's dropped out there, and then at round 7, 238, use at corner Justin Wally or Wally.
He's another one that kept dropping as well, but I didn't see any sense in it. I looked at him and thought.
Yeah, because if you look at his PFF big board rating, he's ranked number 136, which would be late 4th, early 5th round grade, and he's gone in the 7th round. So that's some insane value right there.
Yeah, especially
there was another wide receiver that I was tempted to take instead of McCord. That he was another one that kept dropping as well. He was I think he was from Carolina. Is it Kyle Williams, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver. He kept.
Washington State. Washington State, yeah.
Again, he kept dropping, and no one didn't fall off my board, so I don't know why he was still there. But I stayed clear, so I didn't take him.
No, I think it's good. You took 2 tackles, you got a receiver, you got a halfback.
Yeah, I was more in the mind of protecting May. Right, we get our wide receiver at round 2, Jaden Higgins, no brainer there. If he's still in there round 2, I say take him. Mason Taylor, I think he's a very young tight end that still is not developed into the tight end that he wants him to be yet, but he's an excellent receiver. So again, it's given more help to May. And then Damian Martinez fell in the 4th. I thought, that's it. You've got to take him up there.
Yeah.
I've seen him go earlier, but...
Yeah, that's a nice move there. Okay, Joe will do the reverse theory this time. What would you grade DJ's mock?
I would actually say this is probably a better mock than Nick's. So I'm going to go for an A for DJ for this one.
Nick's I'm not going to like that.
Kieran?
Yeah, it's another strong mock. I like the Ozzy Trapillo selection. I mean, he's a New Englander. He played at Boston College, Patriots fan. Like, that would be great. And he's a right tackle. Like, if he feels like he could take over from Morgan Moses in a year or two. I really like Mason Taylor. There's a bit of hype that he could go like really high in round 2, maybe even sneak into the first. So, and then Kyle McCord is my biggest sleeper QB in this entire class. So I really love that pick. Gonna go. I mean, B plus. I think I'm not so high on Martinez compared to you guys, but yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind Stutzman in round 5, and obviously I think you've got really good value at the back end there. So yeah, B plus.
I give it an A minus. I just look at the back end of that and I thought, if we end up with that safety and corner tandem, that's gonna be a nightmarish. And I do like, I know you got the 2 tackles there. So if Will Campbell doesn't work, you got Ozzy Trapilo ready to step in if Campbell struggles to tackle because he may go to guard, and this is going to go for Jalen Higgins. Okay, let's go with Joe's, and then we'll move on to Nick's, and then we'll go to mine, and then we'll go to mine last. So let's go to Joe's. So Joe has gone completely a little bit sideways here. So round 1, he took Tetorio McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona State. In round 38, though, he landed on Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State, the tackle. Round 3 at pick 69, Andrew Makuba, the safety out of Texas. Yeah, he's been someone who I've literally been nearly.
I love Andrew Makuba.
95% of my drafts, I'm landing on him in the 3rd. He picks up his boy RJ Harvey out of UCF, if you knew he did, and then he double dip at LSU. He took the edge, Savion Jones, and then he took guard Miles Frazier. I actually got him further down on one of my mocks, and they gave me a D for it. So I'm not quite
Makes
sure.
sense of it making sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's PFF. Then you took Shamir James, Florida linebacker. I'm probably going to assume that was maybe best available player. Well, you need linebacker.
I'm a big Shamar James fan. I really, really like him. I think he's being slept on in this entire draft process. Didn't have the best numbers in his combine and things like that, but he's just an absolute baller.
Donovan Jackson is a guard. He is, but he did play tackle for Ohio State in the back end, and guess what? He didn't give up a single sack. So do that with what you will. And then the final 2 picks, you then went tackle again. Jalen Travis out of Iowa State and Caleb Rogers out of Texas Tech, all with good value to that. So you've actually
the Caleb Rogers one, I just didn't. Again, I'm a big fan of Caleb Rogers. I think he was really good for Texas Tech, and to see him available that late on as well, I was really surprised. I honestly thought, again, he would have been gone by round 5 at the latest. So it was for me a no question to pick him up. And yeah, I mean, going back to the first 2 picks I was going on earlier, I think you could either, if we're going to go wide receiver, tackle, wide receiver. I mean, Kieran knows, and so am I. We've been on the T-Mac train from day one. I would just be very, very surprised if he's available at 4 that we didn't take him. Obviously, this is obviously taken into account that Carter and Hunter are both gone as well. I think if it's a straight pick for me between T-Mac and Will Campbell, I think right now, I think T-Mac's the guy for me. Same with Donovan Jackson. Yeah, he played primarily as played tackle at Ohio State. Like you said, Carl didn't give up a sack. I'm a big Donovan Jackson fan. And again, I think the fact that he's being, I think another one who's being slept on a lot. And yeah, going down, Andrew Makuba, again, we keep saying that word slept on. Makuba is an absolute beast of a player. Like, he flies and hits like an absolute fucking hammer from running down from that safety position. RJ Harvey, again, for me, just slots into the offense perfectly. I think his speed is absolute killer, and it's something that we are probably lacking quite a bit of. Double dipping at
Double dicking.
won't be the first time. Double dipping at LSU with Stevian Jones and Miles Fraser. Again, I really like Miles Fraser as a guard. I think he's a big guy. I think he'd be a very good fit for this offense. And then Shamar James, I think is one of my favorite players in the lower rounds of the draft. And then picking up Jalen Travis as well in round 7. I think it just brings in the tackles. The good thing I think about bringing in the 2 young tackles, especially towards the end of the draft, is you don't necessarily need to push them to start this year.
Fair enough.
So that was my outlook on it.
This kind of comment: is Makuba too small for the NFL?
Have you seen this guy hit people?
He's undersized, but as Joe said, he can fly. I think you're going to have to maybe use him in a specific way. I think he can play natural single high, and I love the explosiveness, the athleticism. You're maybe not going to match him up in man coverage against a big slot or a tight end, but I certainly think as a ball hawk free safety, he could be really, really good. I'm in on Makuba with you, Joe.
Okay, right. I do like this board. Not 100% sure on the 4th and the 5th round, if I've got to be very honest with you. But the thing is, if Nick's saying Donovan Jackson is actually a guard at the NFL level, are we really going to rely on 2 7th rounders to be the blindside blocker for Drake May?
I picked Donovan. I picked Jackson as a tackle. I've gone with it that he's going to play tackle at this level. So that's why, for me, that's why I've picked Donovan Jackson over, as a 38th pick. So that was my thinking behind it, that Donovan Jackson's going to be playing tackle for the New England Patriots. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go with a B. I'll go with a B+ for this one in this mock. DJ?
Yeah, I think the overall is probably right about the B. To be honest, I don't know who Shamar James is, and all the bottom 3. I can see where you've come from, where you've gone taking that massive wide receiver and then taking the tackle in the second, whilst the other way around, we normally do it on our draw. We've taken the Campbell and then we would have gone.
Yep.
So it works either way. But yeah, I think B or even A- would have been right.
Kieran?
Yeah, sort of in the middle around B. Obviously, T-Mac is fantastic. Really like T-Mac. And I'm big on Makuba. As I said, RJ Harvey, yes. Miles Frazier, yes, absolutely. I think if you get Jalen Travis in round 7, you're very happy with that. I think that's a guy that's probably going to go a lot higher. Where I'm a little bit reluctant is I just don't know if I trust Donovan Jackson as a tackle. I think he's going to be a very, very good guard. But yeah, I'm not sure I'd be pulling the trigger. If you look at that range of tackles in that area, I'd be more comfortable with a Connolly or I'm really high on area on, say, Ursery, so I would like that. So yeah, I'd probably say B. I think there's some good picks in there, some good value.
Okay, right. I got some more comments here. Played well, so we can play there, but I'd be uncomfortable. Well, what was your
I just think it's a risk, isn't it? I think he could be good there, but I don't know whether it's a risk I'd want to take.
He always seems to fall on my board in the second round, exactly around 38. So, I mean, do we? Yeah, it could well be that we take, like you say, McMillan, and then we get Donovan in second. So,
like I said, this is what I would pick. I don't think them top 2 picks are going to be the way we go out. we'll get onto that later on in the show, I'm sure. But that's not who that's not who we're going to be taking. I don't feel that's just who I would take if I had Elliot Wolf's job.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Elliot Wolf. I
might have it next year, maybe.
No, what was it I heard about? I think it was in the same. I think it was in the same draft was when Sam Darnold was in there, and Cleveland were number 1 overall. Elliot Wolf was second in command in the war room at the time. And basically, there was a lot of rumors going around saying they're going to take Sam Darnold, they're going to take Sam Darnold, they're going to take Sam Darnold. What did they do on draft night? They took Baker Mayfield. So they completely zigzagged the entire freaking journalism and that. So, and they basically said that Elliot Wolf never said anything to anybody. So if he ain't going to say it, you bet your sweet ass that Mike Vrabel's not going to say anything either. We could all be looking at this, and we'll speak more further in. But, everyone's saying it's all going to be Will Campbell, and the consensus looks like it's going to be Will Campbell. Don't be at all surprised if he ends up zigzagging. And the one player that does zigzag, and we'll be like, oh, okay, well, this is a nice surprise, would be Jalen Walker, the linebacker, out of Georgia, I think it is. Out of Georgia,
That for me would be a disaster. Well, not a disaster. I don't want to be disrespectful to Jalen Walker because he's a very good player, but you do not take him at 4 overall. Like, that is an insane reach, and that is a waste of a pick. He's not Abdul Carter. We don't need a hybrid linebacker edge prospect at 4 overall. People have their opinions on Will Campbell and the lack of wingspan and the arm length, but he's more of a need than what Jalen Walker is, and I wouldn't want to waste the 4th overall pick on Jalen Walker.
Okay.
What about Genty? I'm hearing loads about that. Henry 2.0.
Yeah.
Unless we're going to trade to get Colton Miller off the Raiders, I think getting Gentry is just a.
That's a huge gamble.
He's a fantastic player, don't get me wrong, but running back wasn't our biggest need. I mean, it is a need, but it's not like dangerously. No, we will pray that Ramondre Stevenson is still, isn't going to have his drop syndrome like he had freaking last season. That's what we're praying for. But you still, but the running back class this year is quite deep. So I don't think.
Yeah, I think the thing with Gentry is, like you say, he was great against South Dakota Hail Baylors, but as soon as you put him up against a good SEC or defense in the playoffs, he just got shut down completely. And I think he's great. I think he's going to be great at the next level. But you don't take him at 4. Absolutely not.
Okay, so this is Kieran's 7-round draft, and yes, he's had to do it in a flashy sort of way because obviously we haven't downloaded our mocks. So he's done it on
let me just explain this. So I did mine this morning when I was at work, and then I sent it through to the guys on just like a standard WhatsApp message, and then closed down the PFF website. And then Cole told me about a minute later, can you send the screenshot over? And I was like, oh no. So I literally had to just make this quickly on Keynote. But there we go.
That's fine. So at pick 1, obviously, offensive tackle Will Campbell's taken. Jaden Higgins taken at pick 38. Look at the running back. He goes and gets at pick 69.
Wow.
Travion Henderson. If he falls to round 3, I will be shocked.
Yeah.
I think he's gone mid-round 2.
I think so as well.
I think he's gone mid-round 2. I don't think he's there. Edge. Oluwafemi Aladejo out of UCLA.
Yeah,
I like this guy. I like this guy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched a fair bit of tape on him, and yeah, I do like him as an edge rusher. Quarterback Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State, pick 106. Miles Fraser. There is a bit of a common theme with this. So Miles Fraser from LSU, guard at round number 5. Also round 5, defensive tackle Cam Jackson out of, is that Cameron Jackson or am I getting that? Yeah. No, I picked him a couple of times and I got absolutely slated for it. Is that center Drew Kendall out of Boston College as always, and then finally you go and take kicker Ryan Fitzgerald out Florida State. So as you can probably see, there is a common theme with our picks. Go on, Kieran.
Yeah, so obviously, there's a common theme of Will Campbell and Jaden Higgins, which it does sound as if the team's leaning towards Will Campbell at 4. And if that is the case, then I think Jaden Higgins is absolutely the best case scenario for us at the top of round 2. I've spoken on previous podcasts about it's all very well matching certain receivers to us and whatnot, but we're not in the market for a Bird and Igbuka or someone who plays in the slot. We need someone who can play on the outside opposite Stephon Diggs, and Jaden Higgins is an ex-receiver, so I think that's a great pick. If he's there at 38, I'm sprinting the card in. Travion Henderson, I've said before, I don't think you can get a better fit for the Patriots than Travion Henderson at running back. You look at what we've got in the backfield already with Stevenson and Gibson. We're lacking some explosiveness, some juice, someone who can hit a home run from deep in the field. He can catch, he can pass protect. Henderson is an absolute fits like a glove for us. Oladejo, I think if I'm in the war room on draft night, which unfortunately I won't be, my first 4 picks are going to be tackle, receiver, running back, edge. I think that's what I want in the top 100. So that's why I went with Oladejo, someone who's a stand-up outside linebacker that can rush off the edge just to complement Landry and Keon White on there and Anthony Jennings. Nick said Parrish, great pick. Completely agree. I think this is kind of about the range that he'll go in. If you look at what our cornerback room is like at the moment, we know that we have Davis and Gonzo on the outside, but we need someone a little bit bigger in the slot. And Parrish is massively bigger than Marcus Jones, but he's an outstanding man cover corner. He excels in press. He's aggressive. He's sticky to his man. And I think he'd slot in really nicely as a replacement for John Jones as our nickel corner. So I like that. We spoke about Frazier already. Just a good depth guard to add, could end up being a starter. Cam Jackson, I think, you look at our defensive tackles. I think he could slot in nicely as a run stuffer. I mentioned Drew Kendall last week. I think it's a nice story, obviously, with him being from Massachusetts and then going to school in Massachusetts and then potentially playing for the team he supports. And then Ryan Fitzgerald, who many have as the best kicker on the board. We need a long-term option. We might be able to find the kicker as a UDFA, but you're looking at the 238th overall pick. Why not use that on a good kicker? Him or Borregales are going to be one of the first 2 to go. So I've just tried to address as many needs as possible with really good players. I just loved this mock. This is why I wanted to keep it.
No, that's fine. I've got no issues with that. DJ, how would you grade Kieran's one?
Yeah, very, very, very similar to Nick's. So, like Kieran has said, I think there was 5 selected exactly the same. I mean, round 3 to get Henderson there. I mean, that's an absolute steal. You just take him, no doubts about that. So yeah, I would give it like an A+ for that. I reckon it was really we'd spot on with the 1 and 2 picks, and then we're not far off with like Kendall as well, Boston College, and also the kicker as well, which I think Nick's got on his thingamajig as well. So,
okay, yeah, I'd probably give this an A. I would give this an A as well because the top 3 picks: tackle, receiver, running back. You've already helped Drake May 3 times at the top end of the draft.
If we end up with those first 3 picks, Carl, I'll say a phrase that I will probably never say again, and that is Elliot Wolf has given me a hard on, because that would just be absolutely unbelievable to get Campbell, Higgins, and Henderson with our first 3 picks.
Fletch, you might need to edit that little
bit. Podcast is going to be. We know what the name of this podcast is going to be.
No.
There's me talking about double dicking and Kieran talking about getting a hard on for Elliot Wolf. What has happened to us tonight, boys?
That's unnecessary roughness. Come on, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really, really good draft. I mean, Treveon Henderson at pick 69 is just unbelievable. I have not seen him drop to that in the draft so far in any of the mocks I've done. Jacob Parrish, I think, is a great pickup as well at 106. I think he's so good, so physical as well. And I love the last 2 picks. Like I said, the Drew Kendall one, I think that's a real good homecoming one. That could be a great story. and the kicker, like I say, kickers aren't people, but they just sometimes deserve to be drafted. So why not use it? Like Kieran said, why not use the 238th pick on a kicker?
Okay. So
I did another mock where I picked up that Watson lad at 238 from Florida.
Why not? Take a
Always
stab
there.
at him.
Always there. Yeah. That was the other one that I did. Did so many the last couple of days. It's mental. You get so many different scenarios as well. Like Carter sometimes fell to me. It's just how the board pans out.
okay.
I think one of the ones I had, like the first 4 picks, were like Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and then I think the Saints traded up as well into Jackson Dart at 3 or something stupid like that. Some of the ones were just ridiculous.
I had one that Mason Graham went before. I think then
Yeah.
Carter came to us. I thought he was going to fall to New York. And then they decided to get Graham. I was like, whoa.
That would be such a New York thing to do as well.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Last mock, which is obviously mine. Here we go. So Abdul Carter fall to me at round 1 at 4. In the second round at 38, took Josh Connolly.
Mm-hmm.
Round 69, Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. And then take RJ Harvey of UCF. Andrew McCoover at safety. I did take Kyle Williams. He fell to round 5. I'm sorry.
I don't know why, though.
So
he ain't getting past the 3rd in real life.
He ain't getting past the 3rd. I know. It's a PFF. I know. It's a PFF. Okay. And then I took Jalen Travis at round 5 as a backup tackle to Josh Connolly. And I have gone DJs. I have took a quarterback, but I've took Brady Cook in round 7.
Missouri, yeah.
Missouri. And then obviously Justin Molly, the corner out of Minnesota, because obviously the value was there. The fact I had managed to, it fell as follows. It went Cam Ward, it went Travis Hunter, and then it went. And then the Giants did take Shedeur Sanders. That either left me Abdul Carr or I could have gone Will Campbell, and I thought no, this edge rusher is absolutely lethal, and it's something we've desperately needed since. I can't remember the last time. I think it was Jones. I think it was who we had at edge. Many years ago.
Edge rush. I mean, Judon, but
I wouldn't say Judon.
He was an offline, wasn't he? Really?
But Josh Connolly, I've kept my eye on for a long while. He gave up 1 sack all of last season. Absolutely very good. He very limited in pressures. Is he going to be there in round 2? I'll be shocked if he's there in round 2. So
I'm assuming Connolly played right tackle as well for Oregon.
Left.
Dylan Gabriel.
No, he played left tackle for Oregon.
Oh, he played left, did he? Okay, because obviously Dylan Gabriel's left-handed quarterback, isn't he? So
yeah.
Okay.
Trey Harris, wide receiver. I've seen a fair bit of tape on this Trey Harris kid. I think if we land him, I think he's going to be phenomenal. I think this Trey Harris kid is going to be very close to being another great receiver.
I said in the group chat a few weeks ago, Carl, when I watched Trey Harris film for the first time, the player comp that came to mind straight away was Nico Collins. Like, you watch Trey Harris, and they are so similar stylistically. They're so fluid. They're big. They can get open. They're just constantly making plays down the perimeter. Like, he can run away from people.
Physical.
Physical.
So physical. Physical.
Trey Harris is my guy in this draft. Like, I think that's a stunning pick, Carl.
Thanks very much. But then, as I said, go further down. RJ Harvey, Makuba. I got Makuba in round 4. That actually feels
steal.
It's a steal. And then,
that's crazy.
I think it's safe to say RJ Harvey, Andrew McCool, and Carl Williams are all going to go around round 3. So we're very going to have to either maybe trade up to get one of these guys. But I don't know if I could see us drafting 2 receivers. Maybe because he's just sitting there, and I was like, you know what? No one's taking him. Why is no one taking him? I thought, sod it, I'll take him then.
It's such a tough one after last year as well. It's like, I can't see us going 2 receivers. I say you've still got Jalen Baker there. You've still got.
No, I can't see us going 2 receivers. But the thing is, I heard reports that we could be trading Keishon Butte.
I don't know why we would do that.
I saw that.
Why would you? I know it was a down year, but why would you trade your most productive outside receiver from a year ago? And I know he didn't light it up, but he can still be a contributor. He's more of a sure thing than Polk and Baker are at this stage. So, like, why would you trade him? Like,
Baker barely touched the field, so we don't know what he's capable of. Frankly, we've got no idea what Baker is capable of. But Polk, we have.
Jalen Baker is a beast, and we'll prove it. I'm adamant that Jalen Baker will prove that he is a beast. I said it last year.
I hope so. I was really high on him coming out last year.
Jalen Baker is ridiculous. Like, he's so good. He's so good at UCF. Like, probably my favorite after Trey Nixon, obviously, who also came to the Patriots. That's my two favorite wide receivers.
I worry with Baker, he's not going to transition from college to NFL. That's my only. Don't know.
Yeah,
he hasn't had a chance to either. But I just feel that he's just not. I don't know.
Yeah. So Jalen Travis I took in the 5th round at tackle, and then
what I can't work out, Carl, is this algorithm on PFF where you've taken Jalen Travis only 9 picks earlier than his big board ranking, and they're giving you an F for it. Like, what?
Yeah, I know.
What is the reasoning behind that? That's not a reach at all. That's probably about the range he's going to go in.
Yeah, it's probably the range he's going to go in. They can go flop themselves. So yeah,
have we got to watch what we're saying now? We're on AAW. Are we not allowed to swear anymore?
Nah, it's fine.
Sorry, Fletcher.
I've already dropped a couple, so I think
that's fine.
Too late
there's going to be plenty of them through the season, especially when we play the Jets. So
we're going live on Friday in the early hours of Friday morning for the NFL draft round 1, and also round 2, round 3 on Friday night as well. So yeah, but that won't be podcasted. That will just be live on YouTube and live on X, and live on Twitch, and so on. So there's that to look forward to. I did take a leave out of DJ's book and took a QB. Only for the simple reason that we need a 3rd stringer, because all we got is Josh Dobbs. All we got is Josh Dobbs behind Drake May, and it would be good to nurture a call by Brady. I looked at Brady Cook. There was a couple on there that I did that I thought could take a punt on them, but McCord had gone. This Shaq kid, I can't remember who.
Tyler Shark, yeah.
Tyler Shark or Shark, yeah. He did spin me a surprise a little bit, because I think someone said, he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks going in the draft. And there's a few people who said, no, he's just shit. So I don't know what to suggest on that.
It's all such a weird one, because I saw today that one of the insiders was saying that some teams have him listed right at the top of their QB rankings. The guy is going to be a 26-year-old rookie that turns 27 in his rookie season. He's played 8,000 years of college football. Yeah, Brandon Whedon.
Brandon Whedon Mark II.
Yeah, and not only has he been in college for since bloody most of us have been in nappies, he's had no end of injury problems as well at Louisville. So it's just why are people getting so enamored with this old rookie that's had injury issues? Like I said previously, this guy should be borderline UDFA with that. And yet there are people saying he's going to go in the 2nd or 3rd round. It's ludicrous.
Yeah. So hardly played any games in 22, 23, and just 12 games in 24.
Okay, grade time. DJ, how would you grade my mock?
Yeah, I think it's spot on. Grade A. Can't go wrong with Carter there. Connolly, you're backing yourself up with getting a tackle for protecting May. Then you've gone for your wide receiver. So yeah, it's spot on for me.
Okay, Kieran.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The first 6 picks, once again, hard on.
Nailed it.
Like genuinely, like if we got Carter Connolly, Harris, Harvey McCooper, and Kyle Williams, bloody hell, I am absolutely buzzing with that. And I even really like Jalen Travis in the 5th round too. I don't really like Brady Cook. I do agree we need a third stringer. I think there's, we could take a stab at someone. Once again, it's the 220th overall pick. It is hit here or there, isn't it? Wally's good value at that stage. So yeah, Carl, you get an A from me, mate. I think the top half of the draft is outstanding. So yeah, Brady Cook is the only pick on this I don't like, but I don't think that spoils the rest of it. So,
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with what any of the other guys have said, mate. I think A possibly even sneaking into the A plus there. Them first 6 picks are unbelievable. I'm very much in the same boat as Kieran that I will be a very, very happy man if those are the first 6 picks that we take off of our draft board. I probably wouldn't have picked up Brady Cook. I'm not a big fan of him. I would probably look towards the UDFAs for pick up some guys that you can bring in for camp and see, basically let them fight it out to be the 3rd string QB. But apart from that, mate, yeah, it's hard to argue with any of the picks.
Okay, brilliant, fantastic. Right, it's now time. Are we ready, gentlemen? Let's do this. The first round of the full draft. All 32 teams on the board here. So what we're going to do, and we're going to do...
My eyes are terrible. Can you make that bigger?
Yeah, I can't see it.
Better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better.
Is that better now?
Mhm.
Better now? Okay, yeah, that makes much. That's actually easy now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our picks, but since there's 4 of us on there, we're going to do it snake draft style. So I will start from the top. Joe will end up with the Pats pick. Don't fuck it up. And then you'll pick up 5 and work your way back and work our way. So we up and down and then up and down again. Okay. So have you all
Is
got
this
it again?
what we think they're going to pick or what we would?
This is what
pick?
we would do. So we need to
Draft? Are we doing trades?
No. Because we'll be here all night. We'll be here all night otherwise.
Okay.
We'll be
So
here
it's the
all
player
night
that you
otherwise.
would like to have up.
It's a player that you would like to have. And people in the
Right.
chat, make sure you have your say on this as well.
Could do some massive reaches here.
So is it going to be the player that I want or the player that I think the Patriots are going to pick?
It's going to be the players that you think the Patriots are going to take.
That's fine then.
But it all depends what me, DJ, and Kieran have said in the
Yeah.
first 3 picks. And then we'll just
Yeah.
work our way down with what we got there.
Cool.
So, okay. Right.
So you're number 1, yeah?
So I'm at pick number 1. I think it's safe to say that...
I think they've already confirmed it, haven't they? Apparently, I've seen some reports today from Jeff Bird saying that Cam Ward's been told that he's going to be taking number 1 overall.
I think this is the biggest lock you can think of, really. I
say you take Carter. But...
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I think Cam Ward's a good quarterback, but as a lot of people have said, I think if he was in the draft last year, he's probably the 5th, maybe 6th quarterback taken.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy overreach, but it just shows what a QB's ranking. Yeah, how desperate teams are for QBs.
Well, Carl pick well.
Yep. Well, my first pick will be for Tennessee, and it will be quarterback Cam Ward out of Miami. Okay, DJ, you are now on the clock. Who are the Browns taking?
I'm going Travis Hunter. I would have gone Carter, but I just think they've got Garrett, so I don't think they would want to have 2 powerful edge rushers, even though the Carter could probably learn so much from Garrett being in the same room in that, or same locker room. But I think Hunter, they'll need a guy like him, I think. So.
Okay. Kieran, you're on the clock at pick number 3. New York Giants. Who are they taking?
Yeah. Well, I do think they need to seriously have a think about the quarterback position, because I don't think you can trust Russell Wilson at 37 years old and Jameis Winston to lead you into the future. But as this is a mock for what I think they will do, I think they're not going to be stupid in this position and overreach for a player that shouldn't be going that high. They're going to take Abdul Carter. I would be pretty sure of that.
I also read a report, and now correct me if I'm wrong or not. If the GM's, not the GM or the head coach, feels that they are on the hot seat for the year, and they was to take a quarterback, they technically get a bit more time to try and develop the team. Is that not foresay, or that's why I think maybe they take Sanders here, and that gives them some extra time to.
Well, let me ask you a
stay
question.
in jobs.
Let me ask you a question. Can you name me a defensive end that saved a coach's job?
No.
No. Right. Can you name
No.
quarterbacks that have saved
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. So it's not like the Giants are like one piece away from contending for a Super Bowl. They've got a lot of holes. But quarterback
What I would say is that defense is already pretty good. And if you add Abdul Carter to it, and they now have a pass rush with him, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and what they've added in the secondary as well, by getting Javon Holland, and they who's the corner they added as well. They signed the corner as well. Paulson Adebo from the Saints. I really like what they've done defensively. And yes, the offense is going to be handicapped by the quarterback play, but I still think that Russell Wilson isn't going to be as bad as Drew Lock. They've got an elite defense. I think they can win enough games to keep Daboll in a job, just with their defense alone. But yes, they need to address the offense at some point in terms of the quarterback situation. But I mean, as a stopgap, Russell Wilson can navigate you through a year. He isn't going to be as bad as Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. But I think that defense can definitely keep them in a job. I think it's going to be really good if they get Abdul Carter.
Okay. Joe, you've got our pick.
I think that our pick is going to be Will Campbell, tackle, LSU.
You think it's going to be Will Campbell?
You wanted, though.
That's not who I wanted. No, but again, like you say, I think. No. We're taking what the Patriots, who we think the Patriots will take.
Oh.
And I think it'll be. I think if it's the choice there and there's no trade partner, I think it's Will Campbell.
Okay, so Will Campbell is a Patriot. Not against it. Let's just hope it pans out the way it should be. Okay, back to you. Okay, Joe, same with you again. The Jags are on the clock. Who are they taking?
I think they're taking a weapon, and I think they're taking it to help Trevor Lawrence, who I think is in an absolute career year next year. I think it's boom or bust for Trevor Lawrence next year, and they're going to take my pick from earlier, and that's T-Mac.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I would have thought either Mason Graham or Ashton Gentry would be up there, but okay. So, Kieran, the leaders, they're on the clock now. They need running back, they need receiver, they need defensive line, and they need corner. Who are they taking at pick number 6?
Well, I don't think they need Mason Graham because they're quite strong on the D-line already. So for me, now that T-Mac's off the board, I don't have to have that tough decision to make between the two. So Raiders are getting Ashton Gentry, running back from Boise State.
I think that could be one of the most obvious picks as well in the draft. I think when it comes to the Raiders, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, knowing the Raiders, they'll probably draft a second round player at number 6 overall, and then try and justify it, and then wonder why they're so shit every year.
They haven't got Mike Mayock and fucking John Gruden at the helm anymore.
Doesn't matter. Bad franchises remain bad.
That's true. Okay, the New Jersey Jets are on the board. DJ, your pick. I think
can we just be dicks and give them like a 7th round one, because let's face it, fuck the Jets.
This is a tough one because I I originally had them go in tackle at Membu, but now Mason Graham's sitting there. I don't think you can pass him. And I don't think they're that dumb enough to pass from him either. So I'm going Graham.
Mason Graham. Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
okay. That makes it interesting. Okay. Panthers are on the clock. Being a receiver, edge, and a defensive back. Listen, I think they're in desperate need of a receiver help. Is Luther Burden too early to take? Probably. So I think they're gonna have to go with wide receiver, edge, or defensive back. Who's the next? So it's either Mike Green or Charlie Barron that they could potentially take. They won't take. I remember tackle. They don't need They need a safety, but not that degree of Malachi Starks. Walter Nolan, best available player on the bottom of the board.
I have
think
these
I know
guys
who they're
going
gonna pick here.
cornerback, but I don't know. I had them down as like cornerback need.
Well, knowing this is the Panthers organization, and know that they're ran by David Tepper, who doesn't know his arse from his elbow, I think they're going to go for a reach here. I think they're going to take Mike Green. Yeah, Joe Marshall.
I really don't have Mike Green that hard.
I think they might even go for Will Johnson, to be honest.
My best mate, who's a Panthers fan, is absolutely like desperate for Jalen Walker. So that's who I think they're going to take. But once again, Carl's making the pick. So if you go Mike Green, go Mike Green.
Jalen Walker is linebacker. Yeah, but it's linebacker though.
Linebacker, edge, hybrid.
edge.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just going by what he
Fits.
says. I think that's who they might take.
No.
Go with your gut, mate. Go with whatever you want to go with. You're the Panthers GM for this pick.
Go with gut. They need edge. I'm taking Mike Green. Oh, it's back on me again. Right. Saints. Running back, wide receiver, D-line.
I think if he's available, if he's still there at 9, which I think he will be, I would be fucking shocked if the Saints don't go for Shadur Sanders.
They need quarterback, and he hasn't gone. Because it's either that or he is falling and falling and falling and falling and falling and falling and falling until you get to the Steelers at 21.
There's another team I see him going to, and I think it's one that's going to be not a lot of people are going to expect. And if he's available when I pick later, and if it's my team,
Cowboys.
I shall be selecting them.
It won't be the Cowboys.
Well, I bet you it will. Be something fucking Jerry Jones does.
Okay, it's the Saints on the board.
I think they go Nolan here.
Personally, in this situation, if I'm the Saints and I look at their problems on their offensive line and Arm and Member is still on the board, they could have two young bookend tackles with Twilisi Fuaga and Arman Membu, and they can bench or move inside with Trevor Penning. I think Membu will be gone by this point, actually. So I think if he's on the board, that would be a really good pick for the Saints. But I also agree with Joe in the sense that I wouldn't be surprised if it's Shadur here.
I think they need their replacement with Derek Carr. I think they take Sanders.
Cool.
Okay, DJ, you're on the clock. Chicago. Running back,
So
D-line,
we could either
and
take. Yeah, the running back position is the one that I was looking at, but that Malik Starks as well. He's quite explosive safety. but I don't think they're going to go safety on round 1. I think they're going to take the North Carolina guy, Hampton, running back.
Definitely going to pick him at 10. I mean, I think that's not out the realm of possibility because their needs is the running back.
Yeah.
But you're going to take Hampton?
Yeah, take Hampton.
Okay. Marion Hampton's been drafted to Chicago at 10. Kieran, the 49ers are now on the board.
Yeah.
And they need a lot of help.
Really lot.
Yeah, they certainly do.
Booze here.
Yeah, if I am sat here at 11 and Armand Membu is on the board, then I'm going to take him. Their right tackle is obviously a big downgrade from Trent Williams, but then when Trent Williams retires, Membu maybe be able to switch over to left side. I think, it's got to be Membu here to the 49ers. He can start a right tackle for now and then maybe switch across when Williams retires.
Okay. Oh, unlucky, Joe. You've got the Cowboys with your pick.
I know, and my pick for the Cowboys would have been Shedeur Sanders. I just think it's something that Jerry Jones would have done. Jerry, I wouldn't trust Jerry Jones to make me a cup of tea. Never mind run a draft. The guy does not know his ass from his elbow. He needs to be taken to the glue factory and put out of his misery with immediate effect. However, saying that, now that he's not available, I still think he's going to go best player available at the moment. And I think for me, the best player that he will go for at this point is Jahdae Barron from Texas.
Jahdae Barron at corner. Okay. Okay, back on you again. Miami on board. Guard, tackle, D-line, and corners.
Again, I think let's have a look here. Again, I think looking at what they've got and what they haven't got, I think for me here that the Miami Dolphins will select with the 13th pick, the 13th ranked player in the NFL draft, Jihad Campbell from Roll Tide.
Oh Jesus, that's a very good pick, but that is a nasty one to try and deal with.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to pick someone from like the
shit.
I think because of the Ramsey situation, I think they'll go the Michigan lad if he's still there.
Will Johnson,
yeah.
I kind
Just
of
because
agree.
of the Ramsey situation.
I agree with DJ because there's a chance that
that would have been that's who I was between Jihad Campbell, Will Johnson. I think Jihad Campbell flies around the field. I haven't seen him in the flesh. He's a fucking beast. I do not want to have to deal with him twice a year, but I think it's between him and Will Johnson, and I think actually, you know what? Taking into account the Jalen Ramsey news has come out. The 13th pick of the NFL draft, the Miami Dolphins select Will Johnson, cornerback from University of Michigan.
Okay. Kieran, back on the board. Are you pick 14, Indianapolis?
Yeah, mate. This is going to be a very chalky pick. Shane Steichen's got a stiffy because Tyler Warren is not only going to add another element to that passing game, but he is going to blow open some holes for Jonathan Taylor to absolutely run through. Tyler Warren, the perfect combination of blocking and pass catching, an outstanding fit in this offense, and he's going to Indianapolis.
DJ, you've got the chokers. Sorry, I meant the Falcons. Next at pick 15, receiver, center, edge, and linebacker they need.
Right, so I think we've got two options here. One is Jahid Campbell, which I think fits their scheme, what he does. But I have this funny feeling that if this lad is on the board at 15, they're killing two stones here in one, which they're getting this LB and the slight hybrid edge rusher. I think they go, and they're keeping a a Georgia guy in Atlanta. I'm going Jalen Walker. Just thinks he's the perfect fix for that Falcons defense.
Jalen Walker
If he
goes to the
falls
Falcons.
that low, I don't know. But
Okay. Arizona, for me, pick 16. Guard, D-line, and corner. If I'm the Cardinals, I'm trading out of this one. Do you know what? They don't safety. G.I. Campbell is still available there. Too much for each there. Yeah, I'm in a tough spot here. If I'm the Cardinals, I'm looking for a trade down here at this point because there's nothing. I'll tell you what, though, I'm going to go with the best available player. I'm going to say Walter Nolan, defensive,
good pick.
interior defensive lineman out of Mississippi. Okay, the Bungles. Right, let's be real, guys. They need everything on the defensive side of the ball because, well, they have no defense. They've got Hendrickson, and that's about it. So either this is Jihad Campbell all day long for me. I know they need guard.
That's a great fit as well. I think that's a great fit.
That's a very good fit, and I think if they do land with him, that's their first party. They should just really draft all defense in this draft. Just draft all defensive players. So Jihad Campbell goes to the Bengals. Okay, DJ, pick 18, Seattle. They need center, they need guard, and they need edge.
who's their quarterback again?
Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
And they lost Lockett, didn't they? Mate, I don't
You want to block
really
the
do
interior
not know.
line, see if they need a center and guard?
I mean, the only two that I can think of that are coming to mind. I mean, this wide receiver is a Seattle name all over it. Is it Egbuka? Definitely a Seattle guy, that just by the name. But I've got a funny feeling they're going to go Josh Simmons.
They're going to take the tackle.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So Josh Simmons is going to Seattle. Kieran, you've got the Buccaneers. They need edge, linebacker, and defensive back.
Yeah, I think I've pretty much made my mind up on this one. I was a little bit surprised, actually, you didn't speak about Colston Loveland to the Seahawks because I thought that would be a really nice fit. But he's still on the board. Buccaneers need edge, and my number 2 ranked edge is still on the board. So Donovan Ezeraku, Boston College, please.
Fletcher, I hope you're not listening to that because that's who we wanted for Detroit. I don't think he'll fall that far down, though. I could be wrong. Yeah, that's a nice pick there. Very nice pick there. Joe, Denver at pick 20. Running back, wide receiver, center, and DI, interior defensive lineman.
I think if both of these players are available, it's a straight toss-up between the two of them, and it's either Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka. DJ.
Loves a toss-up.
Yeah, I knew I was waiting for that, honestly. It's been an all-timer tonight. And for me, I think the most underrated, someone who a lot of people are down low on in the draft for some reason, is Emeka Egbuka. I think with the 20th pick in the NFL draft, the Ponies are selecting Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver.
The Ponies. They made the playoffs. We can't call them Ponies anymore.
No, fuck the Broncos.
Okay, you're back on the clock with the Steelers. So Shedeur Sanders is off the board.
This is a really tough one for me because the Steelers always seem to draft really well. I think they've got a really settled program. I mean, I'm a big fan of Mike Tomlin. I think he speaks well. And again, I think for me, even with their needs here, I think they'll go for the best available player at this stage. For me, the best available player for their needs, if you could just scroll down, please, Carl, is out of Texas. Tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. is going to the Steelers.
Oh, I so fucking hate you for that. Ah, of all the players to go to the Steelers, you chose Banks.
I know.
Okay. All right. Kelvin Banks is off to Steelers then. That sucks. Okay. Kieran, back on the clock. The Chargers.
Easy pick this for me. Absolute slam dunk. Jim Harbaugh is going to want to bring one of his guys back from Michigan to the Chargers, and they need a player at this position. It's Colston Loveland all day long to the Chargers. Great fit in that offense for Justin Herbert. And, of course, we know Harbaugh loves his Wolverines, so that's definitely going to happen.
Sure does. Okay, DJ. The Packers on the clock. Wide receiver, edge, and corner are their needs. Or their big needs, anyway.
Got two options here. I've got Burden, the third, wide receiver, but I still think they're going to go with James Pierce Jr., Tennessee. Edge.
That's a nice pick for Green Bay.
I want to see how
and
low
also
that
as well, they
because
haven't picked a receiver in the first round for well over 2 decades. So just so that you know about that. Okay, I've now got the Vikings on pick 24. We're almost there. So they need running back, D-line, and defensive back. Well, I'm just going to go for the best available player, what they could actually go for here, and that's Kenneth Grant. They need a interior defensive lineman. Kenneth Grant sitting there on the board. They don't need receiver help. Could they go for Malachi Starks potentially? But there's nothing saying that they don't need it. So Kenneth Grant, I think, goes to the Vikings.
If you put Kenneth Grant inside with Daron Payne, who they signed from the Washington Commanders, that's a ferocious interior. I think they'd be more inclined to take Starks if he was on the board, but because they got, look at their safety room, they lost Cam Bynum and Harrison Smith, who's nearly in a retirement home. But Kenneth Grant's still a good pick. Like, that would be monstrous in that D line.
Okay, so I'm back on the clock again with Houston. They need receiver and O-line. And I'm going to throw a curveball here, guys. I think they're going to take Matthew Golden out of Texas.
Yep, 100%.
Yep.
Don't know why I'm going up against Luther Burden, but Matthew Golden's tape just looks so much better. So much better. So I'm going to take Matthew Golden for the Texans. And they need a replacement now. Stephon Diggs has gone to us. So, okay. DJ. Pick 26, the LA Rams. They need tight end, tackle, linebacker, and corner.
So I was going to go Loveland, but obviously Chargers took them. So I'm going to go with the next position of need. I'm going to go Josh Connolly, tackle, Oregon.
Okay. By the way, I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
I don't know who Zabel is.
First round, by the way.
I don't know who this Gray Zabel is. Never heard of him. And he's
very good. He's going to be
he's
a very good interior player.
Better than Josh.
1 sack last season. 2
He's
hits,
not going to play tackle in the NFL.
No,
kicking to guard.
Absolutely not.
Guard or center, and he'll be very good there as well.
Yeah.
No, take Connolly.
Josh Connolly, okay, he's off to LA. Kieran, Baltimore now, pick 27.
Yeah, we know Baltimore love trenches. They lost Patrick McCarry in free agency. Give me an absolute, what am I thinking of? It's another glove fit for this offense. I want Tyler Booker, guard from Alabama, to the Ravens. That just feels like a Ravens pick.
Go all the way down here now, okay. So Tyler
Who?
Booker goes in the first round to the Ravens. Okay,
Oh,
fair enough.
Alabama guard.
Okay, Joe, you're on the clock with Detroit now.
I think Fletcher's going to be a very, very happy guy here. I am picking with the 28th pick. The Detroit Lions are selecting wide receiver Luther Burden III out of Missouri,
Woo!
just to add to the weapons that they already have.
Yeah, but they need defensive.
Did I not read
reinforcement,
something
though.
about they're looking at shipping Williams?
Yeah.
I read something, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay. Final pick six. Joe, back on the clock with you with the Washington Commanders. They need running back, guard, edge, and corner.
I think for me, again, you go best available player here. Regardless of what is still needed, I think if he sat there, I'd be very, very shocked. He might not be on their board, but you do not pass up a player like this if he is available. With the 29th pick of the NFL draft, the Washington Commanders are selecting safety Malaki Starks out of Georgia.
If he falls down that far down the board, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the exact same. I've just gone best available.
It was the same. Karen, you got the Bills.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm going to go with a pick here of a player that I'm not massively high on, but I think it falls into the kind of player that Buffalo would like. And just based off their Greg Rousseau acquisition from a couple of years ago, where they took a player purely based on traits and tools, someone who was developing, I'm going to take Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M here.
Ooh.
I think they would be
okay.
someone that would probably fall in love with his athleticism and his tools, even though his production is pretty shit. He could be someone that develops into a really good pro. So, yeah, Shamar.
Okay. You DJ, you got the Chiefs. Guard, tackle, D lineman.
I'll just go for that Zabel guy because I have no clue.
Oh, the Chiefs! The Chiefs are going to chief with that.
Yeah.
Ray Zabel slots in for Joe Tooney at left guard, and they get another
Yeah.
potential future Pro Bowler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a Chiefs pick all day long. That's a Chiefs pick all day long. Okay, so I'm now left with the Philadelphia Eagles. They need receiver, guard, edge, and corner.
You got to go Nick here, haven't you?
I'm shocked there's been no Notre Dame players taken in the first round. Shocked.
Because they're shit.
Ooh,
Nick, are you still
let's
listening?
wait until-
What have you just?
No,
What have you?
Nick's still too busy celebrating City's last second winner, so
They need edge help. So, oh crap, that's the wrong name. Is that the right guy? Nope, that one, Mikael Williams.
Mm.
Not particularly great.
You do know, though,
Nick
that you know how much Howie
Scruton.
Roseman loves his Georgia Bulldogs. So Michael Williams would fit perfectly, and they have lost Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham this offseason. I think that makes a ton of sense.
I do think it makes a ton of sense.
one player that I'm shocked hasn't even been mentioned by any of us. Shavon Real. Oh my god, I am so high on this guy.
What position? Siobhan Revel.
Shavon Revel, sorry.
Corner.
Siobhan Revel.
Corner.
East Carolina. He is so good. So good.
Yes, I don't have him in my top five. I don't know. Something was missing for me, but I think if you get him in the he's not in my top five. But yeah, I think he'll be a good second round pick for someone. But I wouldn't take him in the first round personally. But pick 32 is pick 32, and it's right at the back end. So
what about Scruton? I mean, you could either picked Stewart or Scouton or whatever his name is. Scruton.
He had 8 sacks in 2023, then he only had 4 2024. His hits were down, his hurries were the same, 1 batted pass. He played less defensive snaps than he did 2023, so this is a tough one for me. But I think Kieran swayed me on this. I think, Harry Roseman loves his
Michael
Georgia
Williams.
Bulldogs, so I think Michael Williams, is a very good fit. I think he goes at edge.
Yeah.
Okay. Grading our draft. This is where we're going to... So where do we... Oh, there is no grades. There is no draft for it. Okay, so...
No, because we've selected people that are not in the... Probably not in the top one, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. So I think the top 4 self-explanatory: Campbell to Tennessee, Travis Hunter to the Browns, Abdul Carter to the Giants. Will Campbell goes to the Patriots at 4, tackle of LSU. Jags take receiver Tetorio McMillan. The Raiders take running back Ashton Genty out of Boise State. The Jets take Mason Graham, defensive lineman out of Michigan. Panthers, they go for Mike Green, the edge out of Marshall. Shedeur Sanders goes to the Saints at 9. Omarion Hampton goes to the Bears at 10. Armand Membu, tackle out of Missouri, goes to the 49ers at 11. Jardy Barron goes to the Cowboys in Texas. It kind of really makes sense. Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan, goes to Miami. Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State, goes to Indianapolis. Jalen Walker, linebacker for Georgia, goes to Atlanta. Walter Nolan, defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman out of Mississippi, goes to the Arizona Cardinals. The Bengals select Jihad Campbell, linebacker of Alabama, at pick 17. The Seahawks go and take Josh Simmons, the tackle out of Ohio State. The Buccaneers take Donovan Eziraku, the edge out of Boston College, at 19. The Broncos take Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver of Ohio State, at 20. The Steelers, they take Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle out of Texas, at 21. The Chargers at 22 take Colton Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. 23, the Green Bay Packers take James Pierce Jr., the edge out of Tennessee. And Minnesota Vikings at 24, they take Kenneth Grant, interior defensive lineman out of Michigan. At 25, Houston take Matthew Golden, the wide receiver out of Texas. The Rams will take Josh Conley Jr., tackle out of Oregon, at 26. The Ravens take the first guard off the board, Tyler Booker, out of Alabama, at 27. Pick 28, the Detroit Lions. They take wide receiver Missouri, Luther Burden III. At pick 29, the Washington Commanders select Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia. The Bills at 30 select Shamor Stewart, the edge out of Texas A&M. The Chiefs take Gray Zabel, the guard. He's not a tackle, he's a guard, out of North Dakota State. And then finally, pick 32, the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. They take Michael Williams, the edge out of Georgia. So that's what we done. We will get that posted up. We will get that posted up in the next few hours or so. So hopefully you can actually see what we've done there. And all our mock draft will be up on X as well. But this is what we think the draft will be. We don't know what the draft is going to be like. I mean, we know there's going to be I think there's going to be at least one trade in the first round in the early hours of Friday morning. I don't see a way which we won't get no trades.
I've seen multiple reports
we'll
about Bears wanting to come up with us if Genty's still there at 4. Don't know if that's true or not. There's Eagles as well.
I can't see him at 4.
Carter's still there. They want to come up and get him. But
if you give me AJ Brown for the 4th pick, plus the pick 32, and perhaps even a 3rd or 4th rounder, I would snap your hand off for that.
I think with regards to the Bears, I wouldn't rule that out. I mean, Genty could be the missing piece of the jigsaw, and if they feel they want to get ahead of the Raiders, then I would happily slide back to 10 because I still think we could get, a tackle maybe even T-Mac at number 10. So I would definitely entertain that if that was the case. I think we'll see less trades in the first round overall this year because I think the draft's very top heavy, but I think we will see a lot more trades in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round because the depth at some positions is really, really strong. I think I listened to a podcast the other day where they were saying that it's a deep draft. It's just the top of it is very, very limited. So you're going to see very, very good B-level players go second, third round. So I think that's where you see a lot of teams moving about.
Yeah, no, completely agree. DJ, last thoughts before we close out.
On what we're going to draft.
Yeah.
My mind's telling me that we should do the right thing and go for Campbell. But like I say, if Hunter or Carter falls at 4, you can't pass them. You just have to take one of them. And I do hope that one of those two do fall to us, because I think they are blue chip players and they are the best in this draft. It's just that if it all depends on what the Browns and Giants do, to be honest. But I think the logical and the safe option is to get Campbell.
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree. I think Will Campbell is the safe pick. I think that is the pick that we make if Carter or Hunter aren't available. I think Cam Ward is guaranteed now to be the number 1 pick. I think a lot depends on how the Browns and the Giants are both evaluating Shador. I wouldn't be shocked if one of them decided to take Shador Sanders at number 2 or number 3, which could then potentially leave, like say, the door open for us for a Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. I think if you had to gun to my head, if you have Carter and Hunter available at 4, for me, you take Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it in my mind. If Carter's there at 4, you take him, unless the rumours of the Eagles coming up wanting to take him are true. I think if the Eagles are there, are willing to ship Brown plus a few, maybe like say the first round pick plus Brown plus maybe even a 3rd or a 4th round pick, you don't turn that down.
Well, just to let you know, the Eagles in their next 2 drafts, they've got 20 picks. So it's not like they haven't got any capital to work with, and their team is stacked, and they've also got depth, so they can afford to make the big splashes like this. But would they give up AJ Brown? I just find that
I don't know.
I think they would need to give up a lot more than just AJ Brown. Personally,
they would need to.
You're talking about a 4 to 32 swap. Like that's AJ Brown picks this year and picks next year as well,
and the following
and maybe
year.
a couple
You're
going back.
If we're going to say 2 firsts and 2 seconds is enough to go up 8 places, what's 24 spaces going to take?
I mean, I know we'll get on to it probably at a later episode close towards the season, but my hot take is I think the Eagles repeat this year. I think they look scary, scary good. Early hot take.
It is early hot take, but what was that? Kieran, final thoughts?
Yeah, just hoping that it's not another situation last year where we realistically only had one player contribute to the team. We need to be looking at the first 4 picks we have to turn into starters. That is massively important. I think the front office has done a really good job this offseason with the players we've recruited and the coaching staff we put together. It's just missing these pieces now as part of this rebuild. So I really hope Elliot Wolf and Ryan Cowden and Mike Vrabel and everyone can bring in some quality players and some good depth in the draft. I think Campbell is probably going to be the pick. I think it's probably 90% likely that that's going to happen. If Carter is on the board at number 4, I certainly think you have to really consider taking him. Equally though, get on the phone and see if you can fleece another team to trade down. I still think the trade down would be my preference. just purely based on trying to acquire some more picks. You might still get who you want at say 8, 9, or 10 or whatever, and then you've got more to play with in the latter rounds. So that's my preference. Just got to come out with it some good players ultimately, and not miss on guys again. So yeah.
I think this draft is quite crucial for the development of Drake May. The left tackle spot needs sorting out. The left guard position needs sorting out. There is one player though, and we didn't do his homelanding on our mocks because I have got suspicion he's going to be a UDFA, and that's the tight end that he used to play with at North Carolina. Let me
That's his best mate, isn't it?
We can say he's his best mate.
I think they are very close friends, and there was rumours that Bill could have got him last year.
Bryson Nesbitt, his name.
Bryson, that's it. Yeah.
Bryson Nesbitt.
He had a massive injury though, I think.
Yeah, he had a massive injury, but he also regressed because Drake May wasn't throwing him the ball. The previous 2 years, he was actually playing very, very well. But he could be a UDFA, and it would not surprise me one bit if we don't take a tight end in the actual draft itself. It wouldn't surprise me if we went and took him off the scrap heap in the UDFA.
It's the kind of pick you'd expect in the UDFA range, isn't it? And someone that's got a connection to Drake. There'll be players with connections all over the places that are UDFAs that will end up signing. So, yeah.
There is another There is another player that I do want, and it is one of my Michigan guys. And I've noticed he's either going in the 7th round or out or UDFA.
Edwards.
Yes, Donovan Edwards. I think this guy's got so much potential. I generally do. This isn't me being very biased or anything. I've watched Michigan for years, and every time he switches with Mullins or he switched with Blake Corum, his extra turn of pace is ridiculous, and he's very good. And he's very good catcher out of the backfield as well. Dog has.
Yeah, so I was just going to say for those people out there that play college football 25 on the games consoles, right? The 3 cover stars for the game this year were Travis Hunter, obviously they've nailed that, but Quinn Ewers and Donovan Edwards. What a fall from grace from when that game was released last year, because I think you would have said that Donovan Edwards and Quinn Ewers would be off the board pretty highly at that point. And you're looking at Quinn Ewers being a day 3 pick potentially, maybe sneaking in the 3rd round, and Donovan Edwards, who now saying could even go undrafted. Like, what a fall from grace. Like, that is,
that is crazy, Donovan Edwards one. That's just...
Yeah. Anyway, we're over an hour and a half. I just realised we're
I've noticed
really
that
running
as well.
on.
Yeah.
I've noticed that as well. Okay, thank you to DJ, Joe, and Kieran. We are getting on out of here. Remember, guys, we will be live in the early hours of Friday morning for round 1 of the NFL draft. It's going to be me and Nick that's going to be hosting. Joe's going to be on with us as well. So, and also
what
our
time
good
is
man.
the second? I won't be here for the Thursday one. You can forget that because I've got work Friday.
I need to check the times on it. I
It'll
still
be
think it's a late one.
Rounds
Midnight.
2 and 3 start midnight UK time on Friday night, early as Saturday morning. It's an hour earlier because there's obviously 2 rounds to fit in.
Yeah, but they haven't got as much time on the clock as they usually have because obviously that's so the pick's still going through quicker, but it's just going to be, So I'll be available. Me and Nick will be available, and Joe will be available for round 1. Nick's good for round 1, round 2. So if DJ wants to come on for round 2, he's more than welcome to. And everybody else. So then obviously Saturday is just I call it the dusty section of the draft where it's just throw something at the wall and hoping that it sticks. So you've got that one to look forward to. So yeah, we will be live in the early hours of Friday morning. We will do me, Nick, and Joe. I'll tell you what we will do before they actually do their actual draft. We will do our own Patriots mock draft as an actual pod. So we will actually do it whilst it's live on air as well. So we can have a little bit of fun, see what we do. And trades will be allowed. So we can have a little...
Don't say that.
Oh,
Nick's just
messy.
going to just trade everything.
Yeah. No picks in the draft.
I won't
No.
be around for
Yeah,
any of the
yeah,
watch
literally,
alongs,
yeah.
unfortunately. But I will
No.
see you guys next week when we reconvene next Tuesday, when we will know who we have taken and whether or not Elliot Wolf has fucked it up, or whether he has in fact given me a hard on.
Hard
Like,
hard pause. And on that note, we're going out of here. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. Make sure you smash the like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Tell all your friends. Follow us on all our social media platforms, and make sure you follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple as well. We'll be back next week for a review of the draft itself and see who we've got. But we will be back on YouTube in the early hours of Friday morning for the real draft itself. So, good night. God bless. Go Patriots.